Let's run an experiment together. So recently I posted a shorts on my juiciest pour over ever. Now I did this kind of theory or like brew technique back in like January already, where I started with some water in the switch, left it, and then I sprinkled the grounds on, and then I poured more water in afterwards. Now I actually wanted to show you guys kind of an experiment where we do it without the filter paper so we can see how the grinds and the water are actually working together to kind of maybe understand why this method works and tastes so well. So don't forget to make sure your valve is closed. Make sure my valve is closed. And we're just going to add like 100 grams of hot water first. Now the water here is boiling. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sprinkle on the coffee grinds. So as you guys can see, if I don't ever agitate it, the coffee grinds actually never really sinks down. Therefore, this kind of shows you guys that if we don't really agitate things, it doesn't really sink, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're just going to stir the grinds to set a shape so that when I pour on it. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to show you guys that by doing this, we can maximize the surface area between the top and the bottom. So I don't need to use as much water to kind of pour and make all the grinds wet. I theorize that when we're brewing coffee, the top or the gases is what actually prevents the coffee beans from sinking. So as I pour, you can kind of see how the stream sinks down and we're starting to pull all the grinds down. So that's another 100 grams of bean or water. Now I'm just going to give it a quick stir so I can kind of tell myself that I've equally agitated all the beans. So it's only been about a minute, but I wanted to kind of show you guys. It's really hard to see anything, but if I put the light close enough, you can kind of see where the grinds are. The grinds, there's a lot falling down, but there's also a lot at the bottom. So there's a lot of beans that have sank, and there's a lot of beans still floating at the top. Now this is my first time running the experiment. I've never actually done it before, but nonetheless, it's quite interesting. We see that the coffee sinks quite quickly to the bottom, and quite a bit actually stays afloat on the top. Now at the end of everything, I drained a bit of it to see kind of the difference between the floating grinds and then the ones that have sank to the bottom. Now I noticed that there's actually quite a big difference in terms of the grind size between it. Now that's not to say my grinder is bad. I mean, obviously I haven't upkept it ever since I closed my store, but I don't think my grinder's in a bad shape. It's just, I think some parts of the coffee beans, they actually just absorb water faster. Now, what happens to sinking is once the gases are fully released, it sinks to the bottom. And when it sinks to the bottom, the water is able to pass through. We're able to kind of extract all the flavors. Now, as it's actually extracting through and passing through the water, I proved in another video with my pour over that the coffee grinds themselves reabsorb a lot of the oils that's actually being brewed out. Now, when it comes to cooking, a lot of the flavors is in the oils, so not always do we want the cleanest cup of coffee if we want some of the most flavorful or textured coffees. For me, I like to personally have something on the rich, sweet side, and I noticed that having a lot more of the oils pass through tends to kind of have that sweeter, tastier notes. Now, because we kind of let everything sink to the bottom for such a long time, a lot of the oils are being reabsorbed, and it's not always going to be my favorite cup of coffee. But there is probably some kind of medium balance where you can have a higher extraction while letting the oils pass through. And I'm still trying to find it. So this is a very good experiment for me to test. I think maybe, there probably is a way where we put less hot water at the beginning so that there's less space for the grinds to kind of dip down. And then to have a slightly lower agitation pour, maybe if we swapped to the smaller V6001 size filter at the top, then maybe we can get closer, have less pulling, have less force to kind of pull everything down, and then use less water if I pour slower. I mean, this is just me rambling on, but in theory, if I can get that upper puck to a smaller, to less liquid, I can let it sit for a lot longer, make it more compact, and then add and have less to sink so that the first bits of the coffee passing through don't actually get the oils reabsorbed too much. Damn, I think that was kind of wordy. But if you guys kind of work your way around it, maybe it makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm just kind of talking out of my mind. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have any ideas? I mean, I'm going to try something else. I'll be back with some experiments in maybe a day or two. Try to keep posting more. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye.